Hi friends, I've got to figure out a great name for us. Like, I don't know, I can't think of what any of the fun silly names that musician gets for their followers and whatnot. I tend to say hookers, and I know that some people don't like that, but if you can come up with a name that connects with Shelby Shay's stitches, that would be fantastic. Something that we can use when I address everybody here. Before our next crochet along starts, which will be the Ellie Roo, because I can't get enough of this blanket. This is blanket number 2 that I have made since January, and I have a third one that's almost done, and I'm about to start a 4th one, and that's not including the ones, I think I made 3 or 4 the first time I designed this pattern last year. And I forgot how much I truly adore this pattern. To give you an overview, it starts off with a center square. And your center square is right here. From here, it goes on to a repeat. Boop, boop, boop. It's a 9 round repeat. That's pretty easy to remember, especially if you just look back at your previous rounds. And it's based off of the same stitches that are in here. The stitches that I've used are double crochets, single crochets, chains, slip stitches, half double crochets, bean stitches, shell stitches, back post, working in the 3rd loop. I believe that's it. And if you're unsure how to do any of those, I can help find resources, and if there's enough of a need, I can go ahead and try to get some videos done with tutorials. My biggest challenge is getting videos when there's natural light out. If there's natural light out, I'm usually home solo with my kids. Currently, my husband's outside with our kiddos. So to talk about materials, that can be tricky because Ellie Roo is designed for you to use whatever yarn you want, and whatever your favorite hook is, your favorite yarn is, and however much you have. If you, I do have a measuring tape. If you want a sweet baby blanket, you can get it done in just a few cakes, or a couple of cakes. The center square is about 13 inches. And then by the end of the first repeat is about 19 inches. And it goes up from there, and each round adds 3.5 inches or so. So you can really play with how much yarn you have. I will give you a quick breakdown on, I don't know what size mine will turn out to be. I know that I have I have 6 cakes of Valkyrie, which is Mandala. Mandala is a lightweight size 3 yarn. It recommends a 5mm hook, which I do end up using for this. Play with whatever gives you a nice drape that lays flat. If you notice your work is kind of wavy and not so, it's more wavy, then go down a hook size. If your work is starting to pull in and scrunch together, go up a hook size. So this is Mandala. It's an acrylic. I've used a whirl, which I believe is a cotton, and I've used Mandala quite a bit. I used a Bernat chunky yarn, and I've also used Pound of Love. It works great as long as you're matching the drape. It lays flat when you're working with it, and just play. So I have 6 cakes of these, which is Valkyrie. It's purples, yellows, greens to more purples. And I also have about 6 cakes of Griffin, which is these rich blues to purple, magenta, brown, gray, and back to the blues and purples. And I plan to, let me see here, I'm just gonna grab a piece of a note card and a pen. And I plan to work through the pattern repeat, since I'll be alternating cakes just like I did on this one. Cakes 1 through 4 will be used for repeats. cakes 5 and 6 will be used for border part 1, and cakes 7 and 8 will be for border part 2. I don't know, that's not really legible. Again, pattern is broken down into center square, pattern repeats, border part 1, border part 2. So for here, I'm going to use 2 cakes of Griffin, 2 cakes of Valkyrie, for a total of 4 cakes used. Once I get to the border, I'm going to, once I've used up 4 cakes, that's when I know, okay, now I'm ready to switch to the border. And that's when I'll use 1 cake of Griffin and 1 cake of Valkyrie. And then when I get to border part 2, I'm going to continue the repeat of the border until I've used up both of these cakes. And then for border part 2, I'll use 1 cake Griffin, 1 cake Valkyrie, which leaves me with 2, 3, 4, a total of 4 cakes in color A, which is my Griffin, and 4 cakes in color B, which is Valkyrie. I don't know if that's helpful or more confusing. Basically, this blanket that is underneath me, it's not done yet, but I have 6 cakes, 3 cakes of Griffin and 3 cakes of Spirit or Sprite in there. I want to make the next blanket a little bit bigger. So here's my plan. It may not work out perfectly. Like I may get through pattern repeat and have switched to my newest cake, and so it's time to start the border, but this one still has a little bit left. So it's not an exact science, but this is the guideline that I'm planning to follow. I'm not sure what size that will be. We will play along together. I will have mine done before the releases come out. I hope that answers some questions with how much yarn do you need. If you have 4 cakes, you can easily get a good baby blanket size. If you have 6 cakes, it makes a wonderful lap and couch rocking chair type blanket. I'm hoping with the size 8, it might be, or with 8 cakes, it's going to be more of a bed blanket and a family cuddle. It is a square. I have had testers adapt their patterns into rectangles, and you're more than welcome to do that. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday, and we will check in with you again later this week.